Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Daf Yomi Ketuvoth Mem Dalad Amud Bet. We're talking about Motzi Shemra. When we think Motzi Shemra, we always think about, of course, a person goes ahead, makes up a lie about another person, says something bad about him, as opposed to Lashon Hara, says something bad which is true. Motzi Shemra, he says something bad about another person that's false. Person goes ahead and says, this person stole $1,000 in business. Head something horrible to his wife, and it's true, says Lashon Hara. This is a specific purpose that you need to tell the person that's Lashon Hara, and if it's a lie, then it's Motzi Shemra. But there's a whole other world of Motzi Shemra, the world of Naara Betula. A person goes ahead, and the way our Gemara is discussing, he goes in and says about his new wife that I feel something funny is going on here, and I think from the time that we had halachic engagement a few months ago or a year ago, and now is that we just had the wedding. I think in between there was she was Mizana involved in nus with another man, and he accuses her of that. So they go to the Beis Din and they judge the case. That's Motzi Shemra. That's right now, it's an accusation. They go to Beis Din. Now, a few interesting points regarding this case. Number one, there's two mitzvot from the Torah and the 613 mitzvot regarding this case. Number one, if it's found out to be false, there is a mitzvah to go ahead and keep her as a wife. Okay. She stays with him forever. If it turns out to be Motzi Shemra, it was a false report. And lo yigaresh Motzi Shemra, there's an isser to divorce her. So it's two mitzvahs from the Taryag. One, that he has a say to keep her as a wife, and number two, to go ahead and not divorce her. The second point here is that we do not judge the case nowadays. We only judge this case of a Motzi Shemra case when there's a Beit HaMikdash and 23 Dayanim, because it could lead, of course, to Misa if it's found out that she really was involved in Znus. Then we'd have to kill her and the person that she was involved in. And number three, a hashkafa point. We go ahead and we say that he accuses her of being involved in adultery during the time that they were engaged. It's a very serious accusation. There's witnesses, there's a trial back and forth, and then it turns out the Eidim were false Eidim. It was a big mistake. And what do we say at that point? So we would say she's going to run for the hills. She doesn't want to be with him. No, there's no way they could rebuild their marriage after such an accusation and a trial. And what does the Torah say? There's a mitzvah to say to stay married, and there's a mitzvah lo to say not to stay married. And they must stay together. Of course, she doesn't have to if she doesn't want to. It sounds impossible. They go through this horrible trial. He accuses her, then back and forth, there's witnesses, and there's a Beis Din. Can a marriage possibly survive? A new marriage possibly survive? And the Torah's message is yes. Yes. It can survive, and they must stay together if she wants. And he must go ahead and rebuild. And he's going to have to gain her trust, obviously, and they can be rebuilt. And the fact is, as crazy as it sounds, it's totally possible. As we say, there's no despair. People could go through the most horrible situations and breakdowns, meltdowns, and have wedges built between them, or build wedges between themselves, and it can be repaired. If there is hope and there is a desire and there is a will to rebuild the relationship, it can be done. I think the message here is an incredible one about the importance of rebuilding relationships, and even when it seems like a couple, there's no way they could survive this. And I've seen, unfortunately, tragic cases for women and men where they've done horrible things to each other, husbands and wives. And sometimes they've given up and they got divorced. And sometimes they went ahead for marriage counseling, worked with the marriage counselor, with the rabbis, and with other people, good friends who worked with them, coached them, guided them. And it is incredible to see that they really can be rebuilt, and despite horrible things that were done to each other. So I think this Gemara here has an amazing message regarding the hope that failed or challenged marriages can have. It's a shem. Every couple going through hard times should go ahead, or anyone knows going through hard times, not just give up. Sometimes that's the choice at the end of the road, at the beginning, to give it a shot, to try to rebuild. Shalom.